Alright, welcome to Sandpatch Summit on this snowy day. Weather today hasn't been great, and while there's only a few flakes blowing around in the air at the moment, the ground is covered, so our grip is going to be poor, which it is. It's a very lovely snowy day here. Ahead of us is the descent from the summit to Cumberland, and we've got a lot of weight behind us, so you're going to need to use all the skills to stay within the speed limits, keep control of the train, and prevent any slip. So with that, hello everyone, welcome to Train Sim World 2. We are in the, well, it's not a brand new locomotive, but it's new to Train Sim World 2. It's the CSX C40-8, I believe. Yeah, this is the first time I've put this in a video, and this is not the first time I've driven it. I have driven it a little bit, we are going to go ahead and do the Slippy descent scenario, which is what this is. We're just going to make sure everything looks good. I think everything is set. Go ahead and set the throttle to notch 5. If I can remember which one it is. There we go. Wait for the amps to reach about 1100, which they have, and then release the independent brakes. And let's see how well we're going to do here on this hill start. If you find yourself struggling to get traction, you can drop some sand, which is always convenient. I think we're going to be okay. Let's go ahead and jump into the external front. Extremely loud, but looks like we are doing good. What a beautiful locomotive. It's a bit loud, it's a bit noisy. Can't hear myself talk, but man, that's gorgeous looking. Guess we can get our screenshot here, because YouTube thumbnails are always important. Let's go ahead and scroll in. Whoops. Oops, is that as far as we can scroll in? Looks like it. Turn our HUD off. Wasn't too bad. We'll do one right there. That looks a little bit better. Turn our HUD back on. So, and let's go ahead and jump back into the engineer's seat, because that is crazy loud. I think I need to turn it on my end. Oh, that's Alt. Whoops. There we go. Alright, how are we doing here? We're going up 0.5%. We got a green signal up ahead here. It's going to turn on our wiper blades. Alright. I got through the initial start, which is probably fine. Actually, let's find where the... let's see. Where's our gauge lights? There we go. I know we're going to need those within the tunnels. If you notice the screen freeze, I apologize for that, but that's because I'm switching between the controller. AC4400 is going by. I'm switching between the controller and the keyboard, because the controller is somewhat limited to what you can do. But I've noticed for some reason the game freezes up really badly when you switch between the two. So I apologize for that. Hopefully it doesn't look too horrible in the video. Hopefully OBS does a good job controlling that. But yeah, that's usually common. So I'm going to try to stick with the controller as much as possible here. Let's go back in camera mode. Go back down. I love the Yellow Nose 2 scheme for CSX. I don't know what it is about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the dark blue scheme, the YN3s and the YN3Bs for the boxcar logos, those are also pretty good as well. But it's got that retro feel, just because there's not too many YN2 schemes out there on the CSX roster anymore. Ooh, we are getting a lot of wheel slip there. I just noticed that on the Speedo. But we are starting to go downhill, so we could probably back off the power a little bit more. Bunch of wheel slip. I noticed that because of the Speedo down there in the bottom right was really going wild. But we're doing good. We're doing good for the two C40-8s. Alright, technique for descent. For descending a gradient is to make good use of your dynamic brakes, because you can apply and release them quickly and as easily as much as you'd like. And that is what we are going to be doing. I believe in the last video I did. Oh yeah, so you need small automatic setup as well is sometimes needed, but you don't need it the entire time. Do we have... oh my gosh, it's just pitch black. That's okay, it's fine. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put the power handle into setup, the dynamic brakes. Dynamic brakes do, I believe, take 10 seconds to actually properly start up, and there you go, you can hear the dynamic brakes pick up. Okay, the bottom left is just kind of telling you stuff that if you've never done dynamic braking before or done descending, it's basically just kind of walking you through that. But like I said, I think in the last video, I did a pretty good job with it. And I watched the Dovetail stream, live stream today, actually. When I'm recording this, they did Matt did a rail driver introduction, which was cool. But anyway, so let's go ahead and put it into, let's see, we're gonna have to watch this here. I think I put it in 3, we can put it in 4. Holding it pretty good in 30. Do the horn, just to let people know coming out of the tunnel that there's a locomotive coming through. Looking good. Still in a 30 mile. Let's go ahead and... I gotta remember it's reversed when you're using dynamic brakes, because you're going forward on the stick instead of backwards for more power. So you're decreasing on the controllers. Technically more dynamic brake. So yeah, we're just going to go to Hyndman. I think we're going a little bit past Hyndman in this one. But yes, actually, speaking of the last video, I don't know if it's the YouTube algorithm or you guys have just... There's been people out there looking for some Train Sim World content, but thank you guys for over 5,000 views on the last one. It was a much longer video as well. I didn't think it was going to do well on YouTube, but you guys have proven me wrong, and I think part of me posting these videos on we'll use a little bit more minimum brake here, just use it for a little bit. Maybe I need to use more dynamic. Let's see, I don't know. This is where we really struggle. Let's release minimum brake. Let's just see how much dynamic we can put in. There we go, going a little bit more down. Yeah, like I said, that video blew up. I did a good job, or I tried doing a good job with doing timestamps. Timestamps are so helpful on YouTube now, so I think a lot of you guys appreciated that. So yeah, I like I said, I appreciate all the views. I know a lot of those views are probably just quick clicks. They weren't necessarily people watched the entire video through, but I could tell a good some of you still did. I mean, it's got quite a bit of comments on that video as well, so I appreciate it. There's a lot of questions that people have asked, so I've tried to get to them and tried to do my best at explaining them. But I think there might be a few videos coming up in the future to help you guys understand what I've been doing. Actually, between that video and now, I've understood the brakes a lot more, because that was the first thing I struggled with in that episode, was just trying to get moving. So I'll be sure to explain that a little bit more in detail in a future video. But yeah, thank you guys for the feedback on that. And yeah, that has definitely encouraged me to do more Train Sim World 2 videos, and just Train Simulator stuff in general, I think. Let's see, so I mentioned that, and speaking of which, yes, today is, other way on the dynamic brake. I was watching the Dovetail live, or the Train Simulator live stream, where the beta for the rail driver is currently open, which is Cool stuff. I'm really happy the rail driver's coming to it. I don't own a rail driver, but now that they've announced the beta is open, that I might be a little bit more encouraged to get one myself. There's currently no stock of new ones, but it sounds like PI engineering, I believe, is what it's called. Is this the Mance post office? It is. Passing the famous Mance post office. PI engineering is currently getting more rail drivers shipped in, so hopefully that is much better news to all of us who want a rail driver. I know I'm gonna probably save up a little bit more for the rail driver, but that's also encouraging as well. Hopefully I could do some future episodes on that. But yes, C40-8, I mean, quite frankly, when it first was announced, I wasn't... I don't know really where to go with that. I wasn't too excited for it originally. Part of it's because I would have much rather seen an ES44AC or the ES44-8Hs, I believe. Like the tunnel version of the ES44ACs. Those are way more common on CSX routes than C40-8s or AC4400s. Or at least that's what I see on a daily basis. Like I said, I rarely see a Dash 8 anymore. And AC4400s are also kind of rare. They're definitely more, out there, but, not as common. So it was a bit depressing to see the C40-8, but, I get why, they did it, because why not? And it is very similar to the AC4400, so I'll give that to Dovetail Games. But hopefully we can see groups like Searchlight Simulations, who have wonderful models on the first train simulator. Hopefully they'll be interested in making content for Train Sim World, which I hope they do. I really hope we get more third-party content creators out there, because that's really what's going to help what's the word? It's accelerate content being made on the sim, because Dovetail Games can't do everything. So if we can get more, I mean, especially like Searchlight Simulations, and if we can maybe get a group from America, to do more American routes, that'd be amazing. Because I would not consider Sandpatch Grade or Peninsula Corridor or whatnot to be on par with how American routes actually look. So yeah, if we can get more third-party content creators out there, that would definitely be helpful. The whistles, and we got crossing coming up, but regardless of engine talk, C40-8's still a cool one. I mean, it's one of the first modern wide-nosed cabs that came out in America. You even got the old style of gauges too. So, and at the end of the day, it's it's not all too bad. I can deal with that. And it's just another locomotive edition, which I'm happy to pay for and happy to support Dovetail Games and what they're doing. So yeah, but yeah, getting the C40-8 is also an excuse to do a winter scenario. I always love doing winter scenarios in train simulators. I'll be sure to do a few more as well. I want to do a few switching scenarios on Sandpatch here in the snow, so be sure to do a few of those as we hit the winter months. Not doing too bad of a job right now controlling the locomotive. Yeah, actually, I'm curious. So we're kind of descending the grade a little bit. Ooh, we get a speed race. We stay 35 miles per hour. Looks like we will. Looks like we stay 35 for a bit. Yeah, 50 over 35. Kind of the crossing coming up. I think it's a little straighter portion of the... Oh, no, we're back to 30. Ah, it lied to us. It lied to us. Apparently we've had minimum reduction, actually, for a bit. Okay, let's go ahead and just crank up dynamic brakes a little bit more. Oh, we're in a 25, maybe. Oh! What did we do? Did we lock up brakes? Oh, yeah, I think we were sliding. I genuinely think we locked up the brakes. Oh, we were skidding down the rails. Yeah, I probably gave it too much automatic. But we do need to slow down just to meet the speed. Because this is not like in the real world where you're allowed some speeding cushion over the speed limit. Although at least in Train Sim World doesn't penalize you too much. Because I think it is very similar to the real world, how you aren't really penalized, but you do need to stay within the limit best as possible. So I've actually had minimum reduction maybe this entire time. Apparently there was another crossing. Is that it right there? Might be. Trying to do a good job too hitting these crossings. Let's see. I think we're going to go a little bit more on the dynamic. And then we're going to let off of the automatic brakes here. That was a good switch over. I might need to apply a little bit more dynamic. Yeah, dynamic brake doesn't have notches like throttle positions. So you kind of have to look at the lever, see where you're at, and you look at the amperage too. Is variable in that regard. So yeah, we're actually maxed out at 8 right now, but we can kind of lower it a bit, get closer to 7. Yeah, we're doing a little bit better now. We got 1.3% downhill. Still got the green signal. Not easy to do, but this is a lot of fun for sure. If you're into this kind of stuff as well, obviously. Let's go a little bit more. Holding her pretty steady. 1.5%. She's not getting too out of control. Looks like we have another 35 coming up in 2.4 miles. I'm gonna hope that doesn't lie to us like the last one did. But we shall see from there. We can go ahead and do a few external shots. Why not? See the locomotive in all its glory. I know I'm not known for doing outside shots that often, but oops. It's also kind of hard to control it with a controller. And also with this we have, well, we're not carrying snow, but we do have the more retro 3-bay hoppers and the CSX liveries. I believe, quite frankly, I don't know how many hoppers we actually have. But I know it's just the lead 2 units. It's not, there's no DPUs on this consist. But it's a fairly light one. I'm going to hit pause really quickly here. Oh, not even 40, so it's actually 30 cars, plus the 2 locos. That makes 32, but we are about just shy of 4,000 tons, and we're about 575 yards in length. Quite frankly, 30 cars is actually very little. This is where kind of don't know the direction Dovetail Games is really going at when they do all the weights and do all the power outputs, at least for like the power and the braking outputs for Train Sim World. Because I mean, I don't know what it's like on Sandpatch Grade, and those who have been in the area can probably tell me a more realistic count on the consists. But consists in today's day and age on modern railroads are at least over 60 to 70 cars. You would never see a consist like the one that we're currently at like 30. 30 is a very low amount. And theoretically, we shouldn't be at like 7, close to 8 on dynamic brakes. It's kind of, it's the dynamic brake output is a bit weak, and so is the power output. The power output, I think, is a bit too weak as well. So I get that they're trying to simulate heavy haul, but at the same time, it's not matching the consist length. The consist should be much longer than this. And theoretically, most Class 1 railroads in the United States now are in North America in general, are using DPUs. So consist should now technically be over 100 cars in length. And like I said, I don't know if that's realistic to Sandpatch, because Sandpatch is a much different environment. It is much more, there are much more in the way of gradients and steeper gradients than there are in the plains, you know. So I don't know, maybe there is that trade-off, but I also feel like in general the power displacements, if that's the right way to, the power displacements, the power output, really, that's the terminology. The power output is not realistic to what it should be in the real life. So I don't know if that's something Dovetail Games is going to further look into, or hopefully if more third-party content creators make routes and locomotives, that they make them a little bit more realistic to the real world. And like I said, this is where you go to the Dovetail Games forums, and if you have real-world knowledge of this stuff, if you have real-world data, or if you just need to voice your opinions, do so on the forums. You know, people can complain, I think, all you want about the sim, if it's right or wrong, but you're not going to get that to Dovetail Games if you don't say anything to them. I know those guys are constantly reading the forums because they continue to talk about it in their live streams. So, and that's something I'm going to try to do in 2021 is, I feel like I've been connected to the train simulator community, but not as much as I'd like to be. So, you know, join me now in doing it, you know, and going to the forums more, you know, consistently, and seeing what people have to say on there, and just interacting and having a good time there, because I think we do need more of that, and I know I'm going to spend a lot more time on there as well, especially with my content, because I'm going to post a lot of it there. So, and I hope that's maybe how a lot of people found the last video too. And like I said, I really appreciate everyone who has viewed and commented on it. It's just kind of humbling. So I thank everyone for being a part of the community, and I will definitely crank out more train simulator content, just because there's not too many content creators out there for it. There's our 35. Hopefully we obviously have to wait for the consist to do it. Oh, we get hit with a 30. So much for that. Yeah, go down the volume again. Can't hear myself think, actually. It's probably fine where it's at. So yeah, anyways, but yeah, same with this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you know, feel free to leave them down in the comments. Like I said, I try to get to all of them, just because we are a small channel. All right, getting a little bit to drink. We are 6.9 miles away from Hyndman. Nice. So we need a little bit more dynamic brake. Now looks like we have reached the 30 limit at least. Release the dynamic brakes a little bit more. So how was everyone's Christmas? I hope to get this video out before New Year's, but most people will probably view it after New Year's regardless. Cars! But I hope everyone had a good Christmas out there. I personally did, as we're speeding. Nope, that's the other way. I keep forgetting. Automatic is off, right? And independent. Okay, good. Didn't do much. Got a lot of snow where I'm at. So we didn't really leave the house, couldn't do much of anything. But it's good nonetheless. For those who care about other things that I've been doing, I have been busy working. So I haven't been able to really get to making content, because most of the content I want to make is on PC anyways. And I don't have my own PC, for those who don't know. I am using my brother's pre-built PC. Get through this crossing. However, I am in the middle of building my own PC. I currently have the PC case. I have the motherboard for it. And my brother got me for Christmas some RGB PC fans, which is nice. We're currently waiting on a power supply unit to come in. Then after that, it's pretty much just focusing on the graphics card, which is hard to, come by in this day and age, in this time. We're betting on the 3070 and the 3060s from EVGA, but if not, we have some other backup alternatives. And the CPU and memory and RAM. But for the most part, PC build is on its way. So I'm hoping that once that comes through, I'll be able to crank out way more content than what I have been. Like I said, my laptop just isn't good for editing either, and it's really unfair for my brother. So it's about time I got my own, and I'm hoping that build comes through. So yeah, that will definitely mean more content, but it may not be until February that the PC is fully built. Again, it's just because the graphics card is going to be the one that's hard to come by at the moment, and hope on getting a 3070 is kind of slim. But if we do get the 3060, that's probably going to be just as good. It won't be as good as the 3070, but it will be a card nonetheless. Yep, we're still in the 30 zone, still green. So yeah, but otherwise, nothing much has actually happened. For those who have been following along with my Donner Pass modernizing series, I apologize. I truly do. I do have hours of footage that needs to be whittled down, but I just haven't been able to get to it. So hopefully sometime this week I'll be able to put all of that together. Come around this curve. Apparently this is the famous photo op position. Again, this is just off of my mind from the live stream, because they would sit over on that hill there, and then they would take pictures along the rails here. So those are really the more famous photo opportunities are on Sandpatch grade. Let's do a classic classic train simulator camera angle. In Train Simulator, I normally used the boom camera, and it's so cool that, you know, they still kept that camera in Train Sim World. It just feels so weird and different with boom camera in this sim. But get a little exterior shot. I do like the snow. Snow, something aesthetic about snow in Train Sim World. It's pretty nice. It's pretty pleasant. The haziness as well looks cool, and I don't know, the scenery in this route is spectacular. I believe we are coming up to a tunnel, so this is going to end our our exterior shots for a bit, which is a bit disappointing. Man, that window is actually helpful. When you put headphones on, you actually realize how nice the interior cab sounds are, because it's just so loud outside. There is some sound balancing issues. I've noticed some locos, their horns are a bit quiet from the outside, but it could also be if you're listening to a live stream, or if you're playing the game without headphones, you don't get the same feel. But there's some balancing that may be needed. Now, we're not doing good in the action points standpoint. So we're doing a bit above speed limit, but that's alright, that's fine. I do need to try to do this. I think this was an hour long scenario. Do need to be somewhere in about an hour and 10 minutes. So hopefully, hopefully it doesn't take too long. Find any of the bends. I wouldn't mind. I'm looking forward to things that are coming up on the roadmap. Sometimes sometimes I wish to do roadmap reactions, but when they release the roadmap every single month, there's not too many new things added. But I think if there's the occasional... I started that horn sequence a bit early. There's not too many new things that are constantly added. But if that's something that people want to see out of the channel, maybe my reactions, my thoughts, I might do it. What sucks is that most of the things that I pay attention to are the North American stuff. I rarely venture outside of North America for content, so that's what makes the roadmap kind of lackluster for myself, because most of that content is outside the US. So, but like I keep promising, I will do routes outside of North America just because, well, I have them. Especially when you buy the base game, you usually get a few outside. And technically in Train Sim World 2, a lot of that stuff has carried over from the Preserved collection, so it's actually a lot more foreign routes than you might expect you have. So yeah, at some point I will. So we got a yellow. Got to proceed at caution or something. I talked about this in the last video as well. I don't remember the technical terminology for the signals I gotta read up into. Doing good down the grade. Yeah, I'm still driving over the speed, that's fine. Still gotta go via Hyndman. Speaking of go via, and the markers, some of you might have noticed, if you were bothered by it, that I've turned off every single world indicators off. So usually the default ones are all of them, and you'll get the markers for the speed limit changes as well as the signals, but those I've turned off, and I've always turned off. And then, yeah, you'll notice it too. There's no go via Hyndman marker anywhere on the, in view, in sight. And yeah, I've turned those off as well. And I thought I've challenged myself because, well, we're already given information in the top left as to your time, current time, and then if you're doing passenger stuff, you got like current destinations, or like what time you need to be at those destinations, and then you got your go via or stop at distances. And I feel like that's already enough. And then in the top right, you got your signal, and then you got your speed limit changes. And I just like that immersion feel. You have that freedom to do that. Same with any other sim, with like flight sim as well. You can turn off a lot of that. And ooh, I think we might need to use some automatic brake. Let's do some minimum reduction here. Slow it down just a little bit. Don't need too much. But I thought I'd go with that more immersion feel to just kind of challenge myself a little bit more. Poke some fun as well. Because in the real world, it's not like until we get to maybe 2077, if Cyberpunk predicts it, we're not going to have holograms or something on the ground indicating where we should go, where we should be, so might as well do it. And I still really love Train Sim World, and I've seen less and less of the haters out there. I think because, one, they've just given up on hating on the sim, but two, it's a really good sim. I mean, I think a lot of people don't give Dovetail Games credit, but at the same time, too, I don't think their team is that large. And it's hard for them to get real world data, so again, that's where the community comes in. The community needs to help back it up. And so I'm one of those people that I feel like, I'm one of those people that wants to back them up. So, it's good. Like I said, in the beginning of the video, I talked about, consist lengths and how they're kind of realistic. But, for the most part, that's not going to bug me too much. It's probably something that I wish for them to work on and improve on. But, I'm not going to lose sleep over it at the end of the day. So, but it's still a really good sim regardless. And yeah, like I said, if you have problems or concerns, you go to the forums and go spew your thoughts and opinions on it. Obviously, don't go too overboard and don't ask the same darn questions over and over again. But yeah, it's a good community. I like it. Alright, we got yellow over red. It's still approach at caution. We must be doing really good. We must be doing better. Usually, if it's just constantly yellow for every signal, it probably means that you're too close to the train ahead of you. Like the previous consist maybe hasn't passed the block, or it just simply isn't expecting you that soon. So we're probably doing good on time-wise. Let's see, move full dynamic brake once again. But yeah, watching the live stream for the rail driver was really intriguing. Excuse me, more water. Pretty intriguing. Like I said, I'm happy. Happy that it's coming to Train Sim World. A lot of people used it on Train Simulator, and I'll definitely feel inclined to get one myself for Train Sim World. Just especially for how customizable it is. The controller is still probably the best method, and in my opinion, it's the best method to play a train simulator. But if you really want that realistic feel of driving a locomotive, that thing is perfect. It's obviously emulated off of. I think it's emulated off like the Dash 8s here, of how the consoles look. But it's not going to match up with every other railroad in the world. So it's only good to an extent, but it's still functionable. But I do like, on the bottom of the rail driver, it has all those different buttons. And currently in the beta, you can't configure those. It's preset to a certain set of buttons. But I'm hoping that in the final iteration you can customize it. And you can also customize the paper strip in there too that says which functions are what. So you might be able to like switch those functions and then just type out and print out a new sheet of paper, to tell you what buttons are what. But like I said, it's way more customizable because the controller's limited to how many buttons you can put on it. So I'm looking forward to the Rail Driver in that regard, because I think for as immersive as Train Sim World feels, it would be even better if we had the Rail Driver. And I really hope different iterations of the Rail Driver come up too. I think the Rail Driver is like 15 years old. So it's very old. It's got, I think, better technology in it. But for the most part, it's still good for what it is. It's still good hardware. Same for like Flight Sim. When I eventually get Flight Sim, I'd like to get a joystick as well. Something simple. Go ahead. We got one more mile till Hyndman. Not gonna do any. It's hard to do cinematic shots, but we'll go back outside of the cab. Do it with the boom camera, because I like the boom camera. Like I said, it's a classic train simulator experience for those who never like to be in the cab on Train Simulator. We are approaching Hyndman, because there's the Hyndman siding. For those of you who do, like, it's not the tutorial scenario, but it's one of the first ones. I think it's A Helping Hand is the scenario name. And this is where you go. Man, again, the snow is incredible. Snow on the locomotives is so cool to see. Something that not every locomotive does on Train Simulator. Whoops, that's the horn. Just trying to change the camera. We do have got the flashing ditch lights. I was actually curious if the C40-8 had flashing ditch lights. So we do have the Hyndman crossing coming up. Yeah, this route is so cool. I do have some complaints about other routes and things that... ooh, we got the 50 now, so we can release the dynamics. There are some complaints and maybe suggestions I would offer Dovetail Games, and I'm definitely going to make videos on those in the future. But this is such a lovely route. I've never had a problem with this route. I could be lying. But it is a fun one. Okay, this is Hyndman. It's an easy, fast run from here to Cumberland. That's the worst part of the run over with for now. And I could not agree more. Man, you just hear the brakes releasing. Oh, yep, there's the chassis system cars. It's so good that so cool that they added the chassis system cars there. Box cars. Oops. Nope, I'm gonna go back to driver mode. We are actually going right into Cumberland. Wow, this is a longer scenario than I thought, but it is much faster from here on out. I think we'll go ahead and put the... Go back into dynamic brakes, because it's still downhill from here. And hopefully 10 seconds picks up. Let's see. I really need those dynamic brakes to kick in. There we go. Getting scared for a second. Dynamic brakes are incredibly loud too, but they get the job done. Yeah, overspeeding a bit, that's fine. It's fine, everything's great. Everything's great. Zoom out a little bit more. Really spooling up. See, this is my type of CSX action, going 50, 60 miles per hour down the main line. I mean, this is... I live by the Erie West subdivision, so that goes through, along the coast of Ohio, and this is what they do. They're just full haul, and this is probably more realistic to what I'm used to. Press the signal. Go ahead and honk at our locomotive peeps over here at the signal. Another dash 8, it looked like, going the opposite direction. See, it's another very small consist. I think that's the exact same size as what we have right now. It's just, I don't know, it just seems unrealistic. That last cart almost cleared the crossing grade. Yeah, once again, exterior shot is very cool. Get close up of the wheels. Yeah, so much detail. I love it. It's cool. Right here for a bit. We still got a green. It's still 50 miles per hour. We are stopping at Cumberland receiving, so we're going all the way through Cumberland. That's a signal post here, still green for us. Still got 50, we're still all good. All good to Cumberland. Alright, we'll hop back in the boring engineer's seat. That was fun to go outside the cab once in a while. But the peace and quiet of in here. And hopefully I do a good job of balancing the audio in post, so you guys can still hear me after the fact. But yeah, we still got a long ways to go to Cumberland. 9 miles is still quite a bit for the route. Let's see, let's go a little bit more dynamic. An okay job, and like I said, we're overspeeding a little bit. What I like about the point system compared to in Train Sim World compared to TS1 is how it doesn't really penalize you. Like, you don't have a score in career mode, or in career mode thing, you have like 1,000 points you start off with, and then if you do something bad, you get points taken off. And I personally don't like that. I like how in this sim it works, where you get these you just build up action points. You know, so you do get based on like medals by how well you do, and you do get it is based off of if you speed a lot or not, if you get to destinations at a certain time or not, or if you're within that window. But you're not docked points. You're just simply given like either the bronze or silver medals instead of getting gold. So you know, okay, I gotta do better to get gold next time. Because it's like a psychological thing too. It's psychologically better in that regard compared to seeing that you got points being taken down and you feel like, oh, I failed it just because I didn't get 100% on here. And especially with the action points as well, you just build up action points, and you know, it's no harm, no foul, you know, whatever. You get 30 if you're doing good, staying under the limit, and you get 15 if you're going over. And then obviously if you're overshooting it, you don't get action points for a while. But I just like I said, I just like that better personally. Other crossing. Also, why the rail driver would be nicer, because you actually have the switch for the horn. And I think it's a variable horn as well. It's not like a button, but because there are some locomotives out there where you have like 2 tones, and you can do a lot of the 2-tone stuff on original Train Simulator. Excuse me. And you can get some really cool effects out of the horn. Like I know the Amtrak stuff, you can get 2 different horn sounds out of it. Is there another crossing? Yeah. Kind of remember the route. So, yeah, the rail driver is going to be cool. Like I said, I'm looking forward to getting it in the future. Like I said, once I get my PC built and together, just budget my stuff out, and then I should be good. But yeah, that'll be fun. Like I said, the rail driver is exciting. I thought the rail driver was going to take a lot longer in Train Sim World, but I think just I've been personally so patient about everything that it's going to be good. You know, all we need is check IR. The check IR will be tough when you're walking around the world. But check IR in Train Sim World, hopefully they figure that out. I think that'll be cool. You know, being able to use rail driver and then look around if you need to. Because, I mean, I guess you're using a mouse, but why would you use a mouse if you have check IR? Just, you know, more of that. Get more of that immersion, man. Let's see, we still got 50, still got a green up ahead and 1.2 miles. Kind of flattened out our grade. We're actually going uphill at this point. So we should probably kick some power in. Does it take 10 seconds as well for the normal traction motors? Yeah, it might. Oh, we are going back downhill. Whoops, probably spoke too soon. Well, we'll see. But we're doing a good job of doing the dynamic brakes. So for those who need a recap of the dynamic brakes, you put it in setup, which is where it's in right now, and that starts up. It takes 10 seconds for those to fully come on. And then it's not like the power handles where they have notches in them, but it's based on the amps and how much you got there. It's obviously reversed from throttle, so technically if you're playing on controller, it's like reversed. More is going to be on the right button, and less is going to be on the right trigger. So you have that. So you might as well do that now, so I have to demonstrate it. Yeah, like I said, there's technically notches, but they don't notch like the throttle positions. So you have numbers, but yeah, they're not directly correlated to anything. So yeah, and that's how you basically get down the summit. If you need the train brakes, if you need the automatic brakes, it's just to put it in initial reduction if you're maybe over speeding a little bit more. Otherwise, you shouldn't need anything. You shouldn't need the independent brakes or nothing. Otherwise, you're just wearing the brakes out more than they need to be. So yeah, that is that. And then when you want to get out of it, just put the power handle back to idle. And I think it also does take 10 seconds to switch over to the normal traction, yeah, for going forward. And the HUD in the bottom right is pretty helpful. And if you don't use HUD, this gauge here on the right hand side has power, and then the left side is the dynamic brake there. So dynamic brake is cool. For some reason, the dynamic brake is way more straightforward in this sim. In TS1, I couldn't figure it out to save my life. So I'll have to, with the knowledge of doing it in here, I'll have to carry that over to TS1, or carry it back really to TS1, and see if the dynamic brakes make more sense there. Donner Pass, I think I always struggled in that regard, so. Alright, we're back downhill. This is like the trickiest part of the route. Keep it in setup maybe again, yeah, going 0.8 down. This is where you might want to use maybe some initial reduction while A minimum reduction, not initial reduction, minimum reduction. Should kind of slow it down as it's going up. Whoa, where is the speed change? Well, whoopsies. There's a big whoops here. Well, we're gonna need just more brakes. Whoopsies. I did not mean to do that. I did not see the speed change. See, this is where I had to be paying attention to the top right. Yeah, some of the speed zones in this sim are just bizarre. But once again, it's not like I get points deducted. I just get no points. I'd rather have that than see a number go down. Because it happens. Even I think in the real world, I don't know how strict railroads are with engineers following speeds. I mean, obviously you don't want to be overshooting, but especially for speed changes like that. But at that point, you should be familiar with the road. You know, the engineers are doing these routes more often, so they're probably more acquainted with the speed changes. So we do have a 25 coming up in a mile. Driving significantly over. Yeah, I know. Don't bother giving me points. Alright. So we do have a 25 coming up. We will have to prepare for that. What time is that? Hopefully I get the scenario done. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, back to 60. Yeah, see, it's messing with us because it's going to be 35 again. So it's only like that because there's these few straights that if you're a light engine, which means it's just you and the engine, or maybe you have like a really short consist, you get through these speed zones much faster. And especially since we have 30 cars on, you can really see these speed zones, but that's only if you're going light. And see, we're right back into the 35. So I feel like maybe they should rework the... I don't know if they're getting real speed limits from what the route actually is, but... You know, it's little things like that as well that kind of hurts the immersion, because I feel like it's not like that. It's usually like we were in that 50 zone, you know, and then into like a 45. You know, it should be a little bit more consistent. Like you shouldn't have back-to-back 35s and then a 60, because you just won't ever reach 60, because that speed section's only like maybe a mile in length, or less than a mile in length. So it's just little things like that, but like I said, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Yeah, the drive through Cumberland's also always really bad. We're going into the receiving yard. Oh, we're going in a 25. Alright. Yeah, I did not prepare for that. See, I told myself I was going to prepare for that, and I didn't. Came up much quicker than I wanted it to. Yep, that's the wrong way on that. Wonder if we're gonna slip. Yep, we're slipping right now. Ooh, goodness gracious. Ooh, I think we're locked up. Or something. I don't know what's happening. No, we're not. Might have been coasting. Something happened. We're not gonna question it, but we are testing the adhesion physics pretty well. Which, to be fair, I think they're pretty good. I think the adhesion physics are pretty good. I mean, that was pretty realistic too. I was heavy on the brakes. I had initial reduction there, and we were, yeah, trying to stop the consist. For a much heavier train, that would have sucked. Probably would have been a runaway at that point. Yeah, we seem to flatten out here. This is the horrid, slow 25 zone. Be helpful if we were at 25. But this means we are getting much closer to Cumberland. Just a lot of weaving around these hills. Shall we go back to an exterior? I quite enjoyed that boom cam. Looks like we're taking it notch 5. There we go. I got to 25. Took us a while to get there. Here's the traffic going through. That's always a nice touch. Really helps bring the map alive. I'm always for that. I got that from Approach Medium on his trains stuff. But to get good immersion, you have to have good graphics, and you have to have good surroundings, and you have to have things that move, and, you know, maybe they need to add, like, the smokestacks and make smoke come out of all the smokestacks on all these chimneys and the houses. We just need that. You know, if we have that, then the immersion will really be there. I think it will come to life for sure. Head's gonna get caught off by that. And we're in Cumberland. Probably do some dynamic brake. Or like moving people or something. Maybe working traffic lights would be cool. Definitely blowing everyone's eardrums out using brakes. Probably put a little bit of minimum. There we go. Such a weird part of Cumberland. It just dips down there for a bit. Jeez, that was loud. A little spur over there. Yeah, I know we were driving significantly over. Get that. At least the cars are working lights and such. It's always cool. Yep, I think we are going into the early part of the receiving. Whoa, I was not told about this speed limit. That's okay. Slowly bring it in. It's fine. Everything's fine. What could possibly go wrong? 15, yeah, this is a 15 zone. So we're going to the first receiving yard. So we're on the west side of the yard. Come to think about it, the road's actually... Oh, that car is going through the road. The roads don't look too bad. They did put like a wet road effect, but it would be cooler if they did snow as the road effect. I think that would definitely look better. At least the buildings have snow. At least the tops of them do. Through one of the final crossing grades. We are really weaving our way through this. Oh my. I don't think I've been on these. Well, no. Yeah, when you're exiting, you're on the tracks that are just to the left of us, I think. So this is probably the furthest right I've been on these rails. There's a Cumberland Amtrak station. Speeding a bit now. I'm just not paying attention at all. Gonna hit this pole with our face. That was nice. Okay, we were really over speeding. Fine, I'll slow down. Go back in the cab where it's a little bit more quiet. I can hear myself talk. the brakes. Maybe we do use... Oh. Yeah, I don't know if I would use dynamic brake through here. I feel like we're going too slow for the dynamic brake. I don't know why we're yanking. I think just we are going so slow. Not, the momentum's kind of lost. Jeez, how much dynamic brake do we actually need? Well, okay, wait, no. I think, no, it's probably fine because I think dynamic brake is based off of your speed. So it's not as powerful going at 16 miles per hour, so it's much more manageable. I think that's the theory of them. Oh, I literally thought that's how the rails were. The last second, the rails adjusted. I was like, oh, good. That was going to be weird. Okay. Yeah, I guess we could keep dynamic brake through here. Maybe. Take off most of it. We're 1 mile from the receiving yard. Let's go ahead and bring up the map and just make sure we're in the right spot. I think with all these, they're gonna automatically put us in the right one. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. And then yeah, it's this blue one. So we're on the right path. Yeah, see, we're slowing down. Oh, we are kind of flattening out. We're leveling out. So we can kind of slowly coast our way into the receiving yard. Yeah, that was fun. I think I enjoyed the downhill ascent, or descent, only because, well, you don't have to struggle your way up. You can still keep pretty good speed through, which helps. Yeah, we've been going at it, I think, just over an hour for recording, so it's not too bad. I do have somewhere to be in 30 minutes, so let's hope this last mile doesn't take forever. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, this is kind of a lackluster of a video because I haven't done one of these in a while. So yeah, if you enjoyed, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, do the notifications if you feel like it. And yeah, obviously, whatever comments, questions, or concerns you might have, feel free to leave them down in the comments. Yeah, the next video will be more Train Sim World stuff. Like I said, I've been really enjoying it, so hopefully crank out some more Train Sim World content. Get back to the modernizing series, hopefully soon. I do have the footage for it. It's just a matter of editing it and uploading it. So hopefully I get to that shortly. And yeah, hopefully everyone has done their best to get through 2020. I know I have. Actually, 2020 has probably been one of my better years, for sure, especially having found a job and just getting some type of income in at the moment. So I do have to start paying student loans back, but hey, it's something. So yeah, looking forward to 2021, whether it's bad or whether it's good. You do you. You go and make what you want happen. Don't tell anyone otherwise. So, like us getting this train down into Cumberland. So yeah, got another 0.6 miles to go. We're creeping up on there. And give it a little bit more juice, shall we? Notch 2 should have been suffice there, but apparently not. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do good in this scenario. I might have to come back to this on my own time to try to get the gold medal, but I'll be surprised if we get it just because I've been over-speeding a lot. Put in the notch 1 there. So yeah, like I said, I have no you don't see any waypoints or any stop at locations, so we have to judge all this in the top left. But I think I have a good idea. I mean, we're going so slow anyways, it should be good. We'll stop anywhere near it within about 100 yards and be okay. We made to Cumberland Yard. Go exterior, shall we? Oh, that's interior. Do front boom camera. CSX facility off to our right. There's the turntable, and there's the beautiful C40-8s. They're nice. Come to think about it now, I'm kind of glad they added in Train Sim World. I feel like the models in TS1 actually aren't as good as these. And probably that's biased because I really like the sim and it looks pretty. But I will take this C40-8 over the TS1. So there you go. There's the hot take for the video. Maybe let me in the comments what you think about that. I personally think this is more accurate than the other one. Especially the color scheme on the other one's actually not so good. Yeah, rolling in very slowly. 300. Go to the engineer seat here. 200. Let's go ahead and go to idle. Start some minimum reduction here. Might actually stop too soon. I either go too far or too short. Let's see, we're going to be within 100, so it's going to put minimum reduction back in. Like I said, as long as we're close to it, I think it's fine. Technically, we haven't charged the brakes up, so we're not really getting much of anything here. Because I have to wait for the CFM thing to go back down, but this will stop us in time. Be a nice calm stop. Very calm. It's probably the calmest stop ever. The brakes just slowly squealing away. Oh, we might stop right on it. Oh, we're going a little bit past, but that was probably the closest. Alright. Oh. Alright, welcome to Cumberland. Let's see how we did. I hope we did good. Speed-wise, we might have done a bit more. Okay. Achievement. Snowboarding. There it is. We walked away with a gold medal. Holy crap. That wasn't as horrible as I thought. Yeah, we had a few overspeeding. There's a few points where we got a little bit low. And we kind of went above, I think, the speed where we should have been. But, yeah, like this right here, see that? Like there's that little bit of stretch that shouldn't be 60 miles per hour and just some weird areas like that. Yeah, and this is Cumberland. You can tell that's Cumberland because this is the yard limit. And like that hill was a bit weird, and then it kind of messes up. But we walk away with gold, and that's what's that's what I said, I like about the scoring of Train Sim World and how it is. Took us an hour and 13, a little bit over an hour. Traveled 35 miles, so that's actually not too bad considering we were at the summit, and we did Cumberland the entire time as well. Ranking up, and that was that. So I thank you guys for watching today's episode. And yeah, have a happy new year, because this is the last one for 2020 if I edit this one on time. So thank you guys for being a part of the channel, and I will see you guys in the new year.